Okay.
Almost live, waiting for it. And we are live. Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining us here at Epic Sketch Time. Epic Sketch Time is an online drawing group. We meet weekly. Currently, we're meeting on Tuesdays at 4:30. My name is Mark Monlux. I live in Tacoma, Washington. That's just south of SeaTac, which is just south of Seattle in the wonderful state of Washington. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1985. And today, surprise, surprise, I'm working on a horror movie poster still. It seems like the only time I get a chance to work on it is during these meetings. Oh, Roger's saying that he's in Spokane, Washington, and it looks like he's going to be working on some animation today. Bill, you're next.
I am Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator in Seattle, and I do a webcomic called Rhapsodies. And today I'll be working on that as well, between the strip itself and some background location shots for my ongoing video support for it.
And I see we have Virginia in the room. Now, it could be that she signed on. Oh, and is still signing on, but Virginia is a regular. Oh, everyone say hi to Virginia, wave.
Yep.
We know you're there. If you're having difficulties. Hello, yeah. Virginia.
Hi. Well, it says it won't detect my camera. So.
Oh, weird.
I would probably sign out and sign in again to see what happens.
I'll keep an eye out for you in case you do that.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I'll see you in a minute or so.
Okay. Thank you, Virginia. One of our other regulars, Katie, will not be joining us today. I don't know if her work ran long or if she's just out of it. Or perhaps like me, she's a fan of sumo. And this is when Grand Sumo Highlights airs. And both of my wife and I were going to watch it this morning, and we completely spaced it. Today is the third day of the Basho. A Basho runs for 15 straight days. Runs for 2 weeks. Every 2 months. And at yesterday's Basho, one of my friends, David, who traveled with me to Japan as a foreign exchange student, returned to Japan after 40 years and got to attend his first sumo match in 40 years. So he was in the audience. So I didn't see him in the audience, but he did send me a photo to prove that he was there.
Okay, good.
Oh, yay, there's. So Virginia, do you have any pet projects that you're working on today?
Well, I'm coloring the doodle I did. When I do it, I'll show it to you. And I okay, my speech therapist has given
we
me,
lost your camera.
Oh no. Again? Why?
Oh, now it's back. Now I see you.
Let's see.
Are you using your camera
Yeah.
or your phone?
No.
Oh, I wonder what's happening. That's
I
weird.
don't know. So anyway, my speech therapist gave me a project, and I am writing a story, kind of a web. What's he doing? Anyway, so I'm writing this story,
Oh,
and it's about Faramir that I made up myself a long time ago, and so I'm trying to do that. So anyway, this is my pet project right now.
well, that's great.
So I don't know what to do. Well, I'm still writing the story and transcribing it into the little boxes, but I don't know what to do with it after that.
Well, what you're doing is what a lot of cartoonists do. We create a storyboard by writing down rough ideas of what we think the dialogue will be in certain panels. And then we sometimes go back and think, okay, what is being shown in the picture that I don't need to have the words for? And what is it? Bill, you often draw the whole scene and then write the dialogue, don't you?
Quite a bit. It's a very bad habit. But
So
very,
go ahead, Bill.
but very frequently it's sort of like if you know basically what the scene kind of sort of is, and you have the acting in your head, there is some advantage of it. I mean, I started doing it as a desperate attempt to fight writer's block in the old days where the main idea is draw characters doing something, and if you were lucky, you'd think of some dialogue by the time you finished. And it happened enough times that it was sort of my default way of dealing with writer's block. But having said that, sometimes you don't think of any of the dialogue, and next thing you know, you've got a lot of unfinished strips.
Now, there's something called the Marvel way, where Marvel would have tell the artists, give them a brief description of what's going to happen. Like Warlock is going to meet Thanos and they're going to have this conversation, and Warlock's going to defeat Thanos somehow. And so the artist would then draw all the scenes and leave space for the writers then to go back in and make the script for it, very much like what Bill's doing. He draws the scene first. Now, in DC Comics in the early days, to expedite things, because things were moving so fast, the writers would often do all the writing first and actually put it on the page in grids. And then the poor artist had to figure out what to draw in that frame to go with what's already been written. A lot of people these days will work from different writers will do a script very similar to a screenplay,
Right.
where there's a description of the scene, and then there's the dialogue, and then sometimes there'll be direction as to what the characters should be doing with gestures or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Those can be either extremely simple or very elaborate, like Roger
Alan
Moore, yeah.
He'll fill up an entire page of instructions for one panel.
Oh my God.
But others are very quick. Others will leave it pretty much to the artist. And some writers will provide a lot of flexibility because one artist, I'm trying to remember it was about the Holocaust, and he made a point. This artist made a point of doing a whole page that really poured out the last emotions of this comic book, the tone of it. He did, I think, about 7 panels, and they all had no dialogue to them.
Yeah.
And it was very it was a very strong comic, and and it's been used as an example ever since.
Mhm.
Is that Mouse, or whatever that name is?
I was good at, I was, he was the first one I thought you were talking about, but considering Spiegelman wrote his own material, I'm not sure if that.
No, this is a different thing other than Mouse. This was
Okay.
done. I can't remember the name of the artist offhand, but if you said famous one comic page without words famous, if you Googled that, it would
Okay.
probably pop right up, especially if you also added in Holocaust.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm going to try looking for that just so I could substantiate my argument.
Yeah, because the two graphic novels I can think of about the Holocaust are Mouse and Yosef, which was by the what's his name? He was the artist who did Sergeant Rock.
Mhm.
Joe Kubert is who I'm thinking of, but I don't think that's who you're talking about either.
How do you? I can't do galleries. Is that a problem? And I want to do everyone.
The controls are up on the top corner of the top
Yes.
left.
If you go up to the corner, top right-hand corner, and roll your mouse around, you should see a little grid icon that says view. And if you click on it,
Got it. There
okay,
it is.
select the gallery option.
So sweet. And there you go. Yeah. It was. I don't know why I just was just boggling my mind today.
Well, my search is yielding a number of full pages of comics using no dialogue whatsoever. There's Calvin and Hobbes, but the one I'm searching for,
Did you add Holocaust in your search parameters?
when I do that, all I get is a lot of mouse references.
Hmm. Let's see.
I think it was from the Vault of Horror.
No, that are you talking about the Master Race? I think
Yes.
that had dialogue. Yeah,
Not for one full page it didn't.
right. Yeah, that one's a classic. I mean,
Yeah, there's a it was done by Bernie wait a minute. Hang on. Who did this? But it was a comic. This particular episode of the comic was called Master Race. And well, there were lots of pages with dialogue. The artist purposely did almost a 2-page spread with no dialogue whatsoever. And that was at the very end. Oh. Someone called Master Race the Citizen Kane of comics book storytelling.
yeah, darn, sorry. I could have sworn I had a copy of it in my, there's a Smithsonian did a collection of comics way back in the day. I could have
Apparently the storyboard for Master Race sold an auction for $600,000.
Wow.
It was produced by EC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And it dealt with the horrors of the concentration camps. It was the first major representation of the Holocaust in a graphic narrative, and it was 8 pages long.
Mm-hmm. EC at its height before Wortham came in.
Why don't you tell people who those were?
Wortham was a psychiatrist in the 50s who wrote a book called Seduction of the Innocents, which attacked comics as corrupting the youth in numerous ways, and by all accounts, very badly researched psychiatry, even by the standards of psychiatry back in the day.
Yeah,
But
all of his things were completely unfounded. He made it all up.
oh, I didn't know it was that bad. But anyway, thanks to that was the main reason that the industry inflicted the comic book code on themselves.
And so that's that little stamp you would have seen up in the corner of the comics.
I remember that.
And basically you couldn't show things like severed heads, and they had all these rules.
criminals being sympathetic, drug use, etc.
Yeah, the bad guys always had to be caught or come to a sticky end. And then what happened was during the 60s and late 50s, first of all, it became known as the era of sleaze. Publications and publishing decided to skip all their self-imposed, it wasn't just the comic book industry doing this, but also the publishing industry. But suddenly a bunch of publishers said, you know what? We've got freedom of speech. We can talk about whatever we want to. So they picked the most sleazy subject matter and put it out there. And just said, yeah, come after us if you want to, but we're going to push our freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And the underground comics were also doing this at the same time. You had, the Fabulous Furry Brothers. You had, the people who were blatantly going up against Disney and its imposed copyright of Air Pirates. You had R. Crumb and a number of other people just making comics depicting nudity, sex, drugs, rock and roll, violence. And after that, the comic book code pretty much just crumbled and fell away because they realized, hey, these comics are selling. It's out there in the market.
Yeah, the first sign of it was a very, very special episode of Spider-Man where his roommate had a drug habit. They played it safe and it was only pill popping, but even so, it was a first act of subtle, we're ignoring you. But one of the reasons I brought that up is the other group that I am part of, Cartoonist Northwest, are meeting this Saturday. Will involve comic scholar Leonard Rifas, who will be talking about Wortham, and just posting the link here.
Bill, why don't you tell people who are watching where they can go to find out about that?
Okay, you can find out about that at Eventbrite and also at Cartoonist Northwest's Facebook page.
So the speaker is Leonard Rifas.
Yep.
Oh, I spoke at Leonard's in front of his students a couple months ago.
Cool. Yeah, no, he's very well informed.
I'm in the process of writing a check to Department of Licensing. To renew my tabs. Done a lot of things today except draw.
You and me both. I was spent most of the morning promoting what I just was the meeting, and then just as I was trying to get back into drawing, my computer had one of its little busy spells.
Bill, your event announcement for that, did you by chance post it inside the Epic Sketch Time Facebook page?
Not yet. I generally wait just a little bit longer on Facebook due to how long they're visible. But I can do that now.
Oh, no, Raj, I just wanted to let people know by the time they see this, it'll be on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
One of the things that Washington State allows you to do when you get your driver's license is you can also purchase your Discover Pass at the same time. And a Discover Pass is basically it's $30, but it allows you free parking in any of the state parks
Oh,
for a
nice.
year. And other little benefits along those lines. So I always get it because it's nice. I just when my tabs come, I can just put it's something you put hanging from your rear view mirror. And that way I can just take that right along. And not have to worry about heating up the ranger station and putting in $5 for the parking there.
Yeah, that would have been handy. Not that I get out to the state parks that often, but I did a trip to Deception Pass in June that was very nice.
Oh, that's when you had access to your friend's car, right?
Yes. And Deception Pass is just close enough that I could make a day trip out of it.
Deception Pass is very, very beautiful.
Mhm. And that bridge can give you vertigo even when you don't normally have a problem with it.
It's a very, very unique bridge for any. I encourage everyone to look up Deception Pass Bridge in Washington, and you'll know just what Bill and I are talking about. There is a spit of land that parallels the shore, and it's kind of like an island. And the only connection it has to this mainland is this 2-lane, very tall bridge that is just dizzying how tall it is. And oh my, it's
Yeah, I mean, I went out about 20 feet of it to take some pictures, and I went back. I turned around as quickly as I could once I took the shots.
So it's a walking bridge, right?
no, it's a traffic bridge with a very, very poor sidewalk. Like how wide would you say it was, Bill? Maybe 2 feet, if that.
About two and a half, maybe 3, but yeah.
And it's a very, very narrow. I mean, two large cars passing each other would have a difficult time.
And it's windy.
And oh my God, is it windy? It's so you're like, 100, 200 feet up in the air. It's not a suspension bridge, it's a support bridge. And so it rattles like crazy. Even though it's made out of stone and concrete. And it feels like it's swaying, even though it's made out. It's just shockingly scary to go over this bridge.
Yeah, maybe because of the distance and being kind of scary. It's one of the ones where you'd think it would be a popular suicide spot, but I hadn't never heard of that because it would be, considering how scared I am of doing it of falling by accident when I walked out on that. I can see it would be really easy for somebody to do it on purpose.
Yeah, the currents underneath Deception Pass are very, very strong, which is why we did my grandmother's Viking funeral there.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You've never heard of my grandmother's Viking funeral?
No, but it's
That's a story for another time.
Sure.
It's a good story too. Oh, it's an hour long story. So much drama. Let's see. Now, where's my drawing pad? I can actually draw. Picked up a sheet of postal stamps. They're all electronically electronic photos of small cells and other items.
Oh, yeah, I know. I get the book that they give out every month or so. And yeah, that's awesome. There's some really great stamps.
So one of these is I asked my postal worker who was handing me these stamps which one was her favorite, and she said this one of the mouse brain neuron. So it is fairly
It's 5 o'clock.
pretty looking. I find the mold spores kind of interesting.
Bowls Forge?
Mold, M-O-L-D.
Bowls Forge, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, Bill. That's my enunciation gets kind of sloppy sometimes.
So now I'm having to.
In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be participating at my next event, which is a very small event. It only lasts for 4 hours. And it's called the Oli Sticker Fest. Happens in Olympia, Washington at the armory there. And it is limited strictly to stickers. You can sell some other stuff, but they want 80% of your merchandise on your table to be stickers. At least that's what I was told. So I'm hoping that's still the case. So Sticker Mule was putting out a special today for glitter stickers. So I looked for an old illustration of mine to just throw on there. I wanted something that would be just black and white line artwork to take advantage of the crazy pattern of the glitter in the sticker paper. The last thing I did was a Robo Monster, or the monster from Robot Monster, and it just had it on the edge, which was fine for that. But I thought, okay, I'll try a black and white image and see how that works. So I picked a really crazy subject matter. It was the character Belial from Basket Case.
Oh,
And in case you don't know what that movie is, basically this kid is born with his twin joined to him. And it's very deformed, and his twin was cut off him and tossed away, but managed to survive and come back. And it's become a cult B movie. And that should be in, I should get that sticker back just in time for Sticker Fest.
that's better. Was having a realization that as far as rules of creativity, if you happen to mishear something, have a typo or a malaprop, record it as quickly as possible.
What's a malatrope?
A malaprop is when you misspeak something. I'm not thinking I know a good can't think of a good example at the moment, but if you watched All in the Family, Archie Bunker spoke with them all the time. Ah, darn. Anyway, dang. There. But anyway, as far as getting hearing but as I said, if you mishear things in a interesting way, make sure to write them down quickly so you can use it later. As Mark.
Ah. What was it? Something at an anvil?
Mole Forge.
Oh, ooh. So I'm working on an, I'll do a little bit of sharing. Show you guys what I've been working on. This is, I'm doing a number of faces for this movie poster. These are going to be in the background in this particular color. And I'm still going in on this layer and see the difference there. I'm going to bring that in about 30%, but I make it all the way dark so I can see all the little gaps that I might have missed. So I'm currently work like these little gaps here. And these, and I'm just being overly picky, and this slows me way down. But aren't we all picky about some things?
Oh, yes.
So I'll stop sharing. One of these days, I'm going to have to learn how to have my face on the screen while drawing at the same time. I know I know our friend Stan does that, but whenever I tried to use it on my stuff, my my system isn't up to the task.
Yeah, I keep meaning to ask him about this streaming advice, and I always blank on it.
Well, I was even in the same room with him with the same equipment, and we couldn't get it to work. So it must be because my computer is like a dozen years old. So I finally watched The Flash.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my wife said that's 2.5 hours we're not getting back. And I'm kind of going, what? It was pretty faithful to the stories that I read, though, in the comic books. So if I was a Flash fan, why should I be upset?
I heard that they also panned the Blue Beetle because they love stories and things like that wouldn't be have have done that. Not that what wasn't what I was saying, but sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, as far as movie viewing, I also finally saw Avatar Way of Water.
Oh, there you
Oh.
go.
Uh-huh.
And don't you wish you had had a chance to at least see it in 3D? Because wasn't it just obvious how well it was really meant for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I generally have problems with 3D, but yeah.
And I was kind of going, it's just a matter of time before that guy loses that arm.
Hmm.
You knew it was going to come. Nothing like seeing it flying across the screen in 3D when you're right.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in the middle of watching, or I should say rewatching, a film from 1960 with Anthony Quinn, Ava Gardner, bunch of other familiar faces of actors you probably know from TV. It's called Portrait in Black.
Uh, yeah, I was doing Anthony Quinn was on my viewing list this week. I think I told you I was in because I was rereading Master and Margarita. I was inspired to watch Barabbas, and it was
What other movie did you watch with Barabbas? Did you go with
Robe.
The Robe or
The Robe? It's
Man,
another
I've
one.
lost count of how many times I've watched The Robe.
Hmm.
And I watched another movie. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, a pretty fun, delightful. I'm trying to remember if I watched it on Hulu or if I watched it on Max. But it's a wonderful little, funny, not vampire, a werewolf movie called Werewolves Within. And so it's very larkish, and I enjoyed it a great deal. It reminded me of the old EC comic Tales of Werewolves. So I would give that recommended viewing. just because the humor was so well done.
Sure, I couldn't say no to a werewolf comedy.
Do you have Hulu by chance?
Uh, Not at the moment. It's sort of like I mean, I already have Apple and
You see, and I
Netflix.
don't have Apple, and there's a bunch of things on Apple I want to watch, like all the recent Tom Hanks movies. They're all on Apple. They're nowhere else.
And Prehistoric Planet was really good. I mean, it's not like it's perfect. For example, I was quite disappointed by Foundation.
I haven't seen Foundation.
Uh-huh.
Again, don't have Apple. I mean, yeah. Don't. Is that the right network?
I
Apple?
believe so. At the moment, as far as other ones, so I'm mostly sticking to the three. I mean, the only thing that has me tempted tempted by Disney is Andor. But
Yeah, we finally got Disney.
so have you seen Andor yet?
Have not watched Andor yet. Just got through finishing off The Mandalorian.
Okay. How is that? I sort of got the feeling it looked a little campy in a good way.
Oh, it's a space western.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cowboys and bounty hunters in space.
Hmm.
And if you take it for that, then it's just fine. Okay. Think I have all my faces done.
Good.
I'll show them to you guys. So these are the various faces of people that die in this movie. All but one of them. Actually, a lot more people die in this movie, but I can only fit so many. I can only spend so much time drawing faces, and I spent like a week just drawing these guys. So
Mhm.
what I'm doing now is I'm trying to find. There's a spot. There it is. Found it. Somehow when I go to resize things like this, sometimes my fingers will leave behind a little spot and then I have to go back and clean it up. Like there's a little spot right there, and I don't know which layer it's on. This one, nope. It's on that layer. Okay. And I'll stop sharing. Now to lock these particular pages. Start working on the next part of this thing.
It's online. I thought I would have to. What?
So I got a couple announcements. I should be here next week for Epic Sketch Time. Also coming up, let's see, the Graphic Artists Guild has, let me take a quick look if it's this week or next week.
Show and tell is next tomorrow.
Yes, but there's also a webinar this week.
Oh,
Or is it next week? It might be next week. Let me see. So show and tell is tomorrow. Anyone is welcome to go to that. Just go to Eventbrite, type in the Graphic Artists Guild, and do a Google search for a show and tell. Let's see, where is my email? I could have swore. There is a speaker talking about how you can protect your artwork from AI engines.
oh yes, I
Online.
saw that.
Let's see. So let's see. Saw that in my email. Let me double check what day that is. Oh, I'm getting quite hungry for a dinner. Had a salad for lunch, quite yummy. Bill, I'm not going to be available tomorrow for a phone call.
Okay.
I'm picking my brother up at the airport. So if you call, you're going to get played.
Okay.
Let's see. Coming events. Ah, yes, here we go. The webinar is September 20th on Wednesday, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific. And the speaker is going to be, who's the speaker? Professor Ben Zoe of the University of Chicago is going to talk about how an app called Glaze is the ultimate solution to help protect your artistic style from AI mimicry. So please check that out. And again, look for past episodes of Epic Sketch Time. I'll be posting these on our Facebook page, which is, Epic Sketch Time. I've been thinking about, once I figure out how to stream this thing, I'm thinking about making this into a, what are the kids calling it these days? A Twitch channel where we actually talk about
Yes,
doing cartooning and illustration, because we're scheduled every week. It's a regular happening deal, and we might get more viewers wanting to learn how to draw that way.
Cool.
Anyway,
Also-
or at least,
also Discord,
pardon me.
also Discord.
Yeah, there's also Discord, but Twitch is trending more right now.
Okay.
Discord seems to be like last year's news.
Oh, yeah, I know. But then
Uh,
Twitch was the other year too, so they alternate. So,
Yeah, it all depends on which one is getting the best algorithm to be shown out there, and also which one's more viable for a profit margin. Not
Right.
that we're making any money from this, but it would be nice to swing it that way eventually, if ever. Anyway, thank you guys. Oh, let's see. Oh, those are great cactuses.
yeah, a friend of mine was doing these doodles, and I just went more and more. So,
I like them a lot.
anyway, thank you so much, and see you next week.
Oh, Virginia, do you have our link so that you don't have to sign up on Eventbrite every time?
Yeah.
Okay, you do.
Oh, yeah, I have the link.
Okay, great. We'll see you then, everybody.